Avowed, Indiana Jones, and so much more. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Busy Sticks, Geekiverse's all video game talk show. We had an amazing Xbox developer direct today. We've got some games to unpack there. We've also got some news in terms of a new video game movie in production and something from the developer and publisher from Larian. I'm Josiah Leroy. With me today, as always, my main man, Mr. Baba, not Baba Yaga. Wow, almost fell into an old trap there. John Fick, how you doing tonight, John?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited for Xbox to possibly own a year. It's been so long. And by so long, like, I can't remember the last time Xbox has possibly owned the conversation in terms of like exclusive games or even just like, you know, the most good games throughout the year. It's been PlayStation, it's been Nintendo, it's been plenty of third parties. Xbox might have it this year. We're going to get into that, but I'm excited.
There's a chance, man. And yeah, I couldn't tell you the last time they owned a year, but I can tell you, it's funny. When we launched Busy Sticks, it was in the middle of a pretty good streak for Xbox. It was 2021. We had Forza Horizon, which was unreal, like one of my favorite games early on in this generation. We had Halo, which was great at first.
Right.
You know, and after that, not so much. But I'm so excited, man. We've got some stuff to unpack there. On the show today, we're going to talk about obviously video games. We love video games. We've got a little bit of a new segment coming up. We've got some show and tell. But before we talk about what's in our video game systems, what's about to be in our systems, John? What do you got going on tonight?
You got a fun one. I don't think I've done this before. I got a small story about it as well. I've got myself some Dogfish Head, the 90-minute IPA. The 90-minute is their Imperial. So I've always been a Dogfish Head fan. My wife and I go to Ocean City, Maryland. That's one of our favorite vacation spots. And Rehoboth Beach, Delaware is just like 35 minutes up the shore. And that's where Dogfish Head is. They've got one of their cool tap houses there. So we go, we visit, we have a good time. They're like one of the first craft brewers to come around in Buffalo. I haven't been buying their stuff a lot lately. Until a couple weeks ago, I was at a bar. I was somewhere downtown on lunch. And I'm there for a burger and a beer, so I grab an IPA. I'm like, you know what? They've got Dogfish Head IPA. I'm gonna grab one of those. So I have one. I'm having a good time. I'm having my burger. And all of a sudden, this woman next to me, or this woman comes in. She sits somewhat next to me, and she's like, "Hey, nice beer you got there." I'm like, "Oh, thanks. I love Dogfish Head. Good stuff." And she goes to the bartender. His beers are on my tab for the day, and I'm like, "What? Thank you so much. Why are you doing that?" She's like, "Oh, I'm the Dogfish Head rep for this bar." I'm like, "Wow, what are the chances? What are the chances?"
Dang.
So that really just sparked my my appreciation for Dogfish Head. That one little cool, you know, what a cool act of kindness. But obviously she's just doing her job, and she did it well because I've been buying Dogfish Head for the last couple of weeks to stock my fridge with. After that,
you know, that's a win-win all around. Sounds like a really cool play. Yeah, hey, it's a sales rep, but that's still. I always say that you can tell when someone's genuine or not, you know, and I feel like, hey, that's a nice little thing.
Absolutely. And again, it has worked out in their favor because I have bought a few. This has been like 3 weeks now. And like that has been my beer stocking, my fridge stocking beer for the last couple of weeks. Worked out.
I like that a lot. Good stuff. That you are almost as lucky with beers as you were from Sabres tickets for last season.
Oh my God, right? You know what? You say last season, I've been turning down Sabres tickets left and right this year, man.
I assume so, but I didn't want to bring it up.
Yeah, and it's really not about the state of the team, which is hopefully on an upswing. It's, you know, it's the first year with the child. You got to pick and choose your battles. Also, weather has been a huge factor. I had tickets, a possible ticket to the game tonight. I'm like, I didn't even go in. I left the office downtown halfway through the day. I'm not going to go back to the city for a hockey game. I can't do that. But yeah, they've been there. I just haven't taken them.
It's too risky right now, unfortunately. Tim and I were going to the Seattle game a week and a half ago, and that was the start of some of the bad weather that was coming, and that was the wind day.
Right.
And neither of us wanted to risk it. We're like, we don't want to get stuck downtown, especially with a storm coming. And then what are we risking for not so good hockey, probably? And you know what? It's funny. Tim and I were texting after the first period. We both were like, we regret not going. But they lost 5-2. So
you guys didn't go.
We did not go.
Oh,
Both of us were.
Yeah.
Like Tim also had late work stuff going on. So like it actually made sense. We could have squeezed it in, but both of us were like, it's not worth the risk at this point. So we didn't do it. And it actually paid off.
Worked out.
Hey. So for me, this is a repeat on the show. This is my favorite sour of all time. In my opinion, it's the GOAT. However, John, I will say, so I got Thin Man's Mickey Boodle. This beer, I don't want to get there yet, but how we feel about Hayburner, where it's so popular that, you know, you could put it in a hot cooler, like you said. It's in stores, it's on shelves for a while. It's so popular, it's so distributed that you may not get the freshest batch of it.
Sure.
Well, let me tell you, my friend. Thin Man must know. They must have the Joe presence on their mind, because I'm out in Darien Lake, the country in Western New York, if you're not familiar. At the end of my street, there's a gas station, a little mom and pop gas station. They've transformed a part of that store into a really nice, like, craft beer section.
That's
and
awesome.
They now, for the first time, carry Mickey Boodle right at the end of my street.
That's incredible. That's huge.
It's $3 more than normal. I can't speak to the quality because I haven't had it yet, but a grocery store down the street from where I work now carries Mickey Boodle as well.
Okay. All right.
I picked up, a coworker of mine picked up some, and this batch is how we feel about the Akron batch that we get of Big Dish's Hayburner. This tastes like old school Mickey Boodle. It's probably a little older, but I'm telling you, John, it's more reminiscent of
the good old days.
We remember it to be.
Interesting. I wonder if now that Thin Man has closed all of its tap rooms, if they're kind of focusing more on the quality of their beers and going a little harder with it.
I love Thin Man. I think they do really good work. I think there's been some stuff going on with them over the last year or two. So, you know, I give them that. They've had some changes, but this is an old school Mickey Boodle, and I'm really excited. I hope it comes back, man.
Heck yeah. I'm happy for you. I'm happy to try some. Been a while.
Absolutely. Well, there won't be any left, but I'll get more. So, new segment here. I am drinking out of a PlayStation glass. I want to call this segment Platinum Pursuit. Anytime we're going after a platinum on our PS5, or maybe we just got one, I want to talk about it. John, I just got my 16th platinum, and that is Alan Wake 2.
Ooh, baby. Congrats, brother.
Thank you, buddy. It means I finished the game too, by the way. So how I did it, I read what the roadmap is without spoilers for getting that, and what collectibles there were and how to do it. There's points of no return, and if you miss them, you can't go back because there's no chapter selection. By the way, Remedy, I need that in an update just so I can go back and play Section 4 for Alan's story.
Seriously.
Old Gods of Asgard. I just would do it on repeat. But anyway, John, you can save the game manually 3 times. That's it. There's 3 slots for it. They limit you to that. I got to what I thought was the right point. I was missing 1 collectible, and I had gone too far.
Oh,
no. I don't want to spoil it for people, but I was really upset. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I did all this, but I was going to just finish the game. However, they don't limit how many autosaves there are. There was an autosave that I did not overwrite on the exact chapter I needed. So I was able to go back, get that, and then I went back to my story. This is the first platinum I finished where the last thing I needed to get the platinum was finishing the campaign.
That's got to be satisfying. That's got to be cool.
That was the best. I wanted it to be that way. But anyway, we've talked about Alan Wake 2 so much. We've given it such a glowing review that our good buddy JT, John Torado, has decided to play this game, and he is not a guy who plays horror video games.
He is terrified of horror. He's terrified, especially horror video games. I don't know how he is with movies. I don't think he likes them, but specifically horror video games, he's terrified of. But yeah, Joe and I have been glowing about this game so much that he gave it a try. He downloaded it, he bought it, and he's been playing it a little bit. I'm not sure how far, if he's given up yet. We haven't gotten a status update in a couple of days, so maybe it's not even on his hard drive anymore, but he tried it out.
It's going to the backlog, you know. But no, you know what? Credit for trying it. He's playing on the Xbox. He said in the chat, well, first of all, he said he hates everything, but second of all, he said that it was like so terrifying, but that was a weird part of wanting to come back to it to see what was next.
Yes.
And I think that's the beautiful mix that Remedy has blended here. Like, it's so good. I could talk a whole nother hour about it, even though we've already talked about it like crazy on our last 2 episodes of Busy Sticks. So what
a game.
Platinum Pursuit. There we go. Anytime we have that in the future, we'll have our PlayStation glasses and we'll talk about it.
We got to get you the trophy glass again. We got to, yeah. If anyone's listening, they've got an in on those like PlayStation trophy glasses. That was kind of the idea for the segment, is because we both used to have them. Like, it's a PlayStation glass that's literally shaped like the trophies you get when you pop trophies. Joe had one, but Joe, what happened to that glass?
Tim did not break this one with a frisbee. He didn't break it at all. This was a casualty in our sink. This is the classic 1 in 3 months. Lauren breaking a glass, and I think she does it because she's like, "Hey, we need more cupboard space."
For sure.
So
it's strategic.
You know, I would break other glasses if we were to do that, but
yeah.
You know, so this glass is not the trophy glass, but it's from the same company.
It's a cool glass for sure.
It's a nice little, 16
I like
ouncer.
that.
It's Paladone. That's who made it.
I don't like the break. I don't like the vertical line and the pattern. That's my only issue with it. That kind of gives me anxiety. I don't like it. I'm upset. I'm upset about it.
Yeah. Well, now I can't unsee that.
That's my thing. I can't unsee it. Maybe like you have some white out or something.
Yeah. Hang on. I'll be right back. All right. We're going to get to a new segment. Our next segment, I should say, just called Show and Tell. Basically with this, just something related to video games that we want to talk about. Thanks if you're tuning in live at twitch.tv/thegeekiverse or youtube.com/thegeekiverse, or maybe you're listening back to this when we release it in podcast form. But this week, kind of an under the radar Star Wars game was announced to be coming to the catalog for PlayStation Plus. And I was like, it's funny. I have a physical copy of that game. Before it was the greatest hits as well. And that game is Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Nice.
For PlayStation 1. Back when movie tie-in games were really, really prominent, 1999.
There were some good ones too, man.
For sure. This is not a good one.
No.
But
shout out Rugrats in Paris.
Oh, Rugrats, damn. Yeah, there were some classics there, man, especially the PlayStation days early on.
Sure.
But this is right before the heyday of Star Wars video games. I think they were on a hot streak during the prequels. And this was fun. Not good, but fun if you like Star Wars. Almost like role. I don't want to say it was open world, but it's not linear at all. Like you would go to all the levels or locations that you see in the movie, and like they'd be hubs. So you had tasks and had to go complete them in doing the main story. Where it lost me was at the end of the last battle. Your best way to defeat Darth Maul was with a blaster. I'm like, come on, bro.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Really? Let's not do that. But nonetheless, had a good time with it.
I mean, maybe Qui-Gon should have done that.
Maybe they knew something that we didn't over at LucasArts. On the front of it, it's got this little almost like yellow sticker looking thing on the cover. It's a special bonus. It includes Star Wars Duel of the Fates music video.
Oh, that's so cool, dude.
It's in the menu. You go, there's an actual music video for it. It's John Williams and the London Symphony Orchestra, but it'll flash clips from the movie. So I must have watched it 100 times. And then how satisfying, 20 years later, I do a drum video for that song, which is on our YouTube. But like these little things that just kind of recur in our lives that find a way to keep coming back, man. But,
that's fun. That's a good one.
I thought that was interesting. I was like, this is a good time to pull out an old classic.
For sure.
All right, John, we don't have any fantasy draft updates because we haven't drafted yet, but we're going to be doing the Geekiverse video game draft very shortly.
Hopefully next week. We got to lock that in because I can't wait. We finally just locked in our draft order. I'm not thrilled that I have last, but I'm also not too upset about it because in a snake draft I do get to pick twice in a row. But yeah, I can't wait to just sit down, have those conversations, have those arguments, and when we did that draft live and recorded that a couple of years ago, that was so much fun. So I'm pumped to do that again.
It's going to be great. It's going to be 6 of us. We'll tease that one more time here at the end. We are planning to do that this coming Monday, which is January 22nd at 9 p.m. Eastern time. John, what's in your system? What have you been playing?
So I've been playing. I've been tackling the backlog, and I've been committing to it. I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I'm making pretty good headway. I think I'm on chapter 15 now, which is further than I got the first time I tried to play the game when I booted it up when it first came out. I think I got to chapter like 8 or 9, so I have officially passed that point. I'm loving it, man. I really am loving this game. It's crazy because like I know you'll get to it. You just started it. You've played a couple of chapters. Man, it's one of those games where like it only gets better. It just gets better and better and better. And I think that's a testament to the story and to the writing and to how cool these characters are and the world they're building. Like the more you find out about it, the more interesting everything is. But also the set pieces. There's just so like the game is freaking gorgeous, man. Like these huge scale set pieces that they just cut to, and you're just watching these for a good minute and a half, 2 minutes, and your jaw's on the floor at some of the things they're doing with this game. I'm so glad I'm finally getting to it. I'm pumped to get through it in time for Rebirth. But yeah, that's been the big one. Just about the only one. I've played a little bit of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, just kind of hopping in, just, playing some Kill Confirmed just because that was on sale. And I've been missing a game to quickly just kind of hop in and get a couple of matches done. Fortnite has been that for me the last couple of years. I just wanted something new, so I bought the new Call of Duty. But yeah, Final Fantasy is what it's all been about. Trying to get that done before, I mean, it's not going to happen because The Last of Us comes out at midnight. It comes out in like 3 hours. So I'm not gonna have that done before The Last of Us Part 2 comes to PS5. But I'll definitely have it done this weekend.
That's impressive. This game has sat on my shelf. I got it, I want to say in 2021. Good deal on it. So I have the PS4 version, but the upgrade is free. So I've been playing the PS5 version, and I got to say, I started it last night. After I finished Alan Wake, that's clear. I want to get to Final Fantasy before Rebirth and see how I like this. Well, I got to say, I'm only 3 chapters in. Already seeing just subtle hints of how I could tie it to Final Fantasy 16 and what I like about that game, being a newcomer to the franchise. But this game, I see why it's special. I see why the remake is special. It is gorgeous. It's beautiful. I'm having fun with this ensemble cast. Like, that is a fun character crew. They interact in a really awesome way. Just the score, the musical score with it is phenomenal. Those games are known for that. Oh, it just takes me to another place, man.
The production is next level. I have what some could say is a confession, but it's something that I've totally embraced. It's something that I've preached for a while and people have talked about. I'm like, yeah, totally do that. Like if that's your thing, do it. It's awesome. But I've never actually bitten the bullet and done it myself until right now. I put it on easy. I put the game on easy. I'm like, you know what? The encounters are just taking too long, and I'm not enjoying the nuances of the combat. And I know it's good because even because the combat itself I'm enjoying, but I'm not really enjoying the nuances of like setting a healer and making sure I'm switching over to whoever my healer is, which I've been using as like Barrett's been my healer, and making sure he's got the right amount of MP. And like that's only a small part of it. It's more just how long the battles are taking. It's like, I get it. I like this combat a lot, but like these small encounters are taking a long time. Like they're taking forever because like it's an action game, but it's also pretty turn-based. You can hop into menus and you can use your abilities and you can use your skills and you can use your magic. So I'm like, I wonder if I'll like this game better if I put it on easy. It was a big thing for me. It is making me enjoy this game quite a bit more because I'm getting through it faster. So I'm getting more of that story and like experiencing more of that lore quicker. And to me, that's the draw of a game like this. It's the lore, it's the characters, it's the relationships. Again, I love the combat. I'm having a blast with it, but that's not why I'm here. So putting it on easy has been helping me get through it faster, obviously, inherently. But I think it's helping me enjoy the game more too. Well,
John, that's a good point. And honestly, I know you're not trying to rush through it, but hey, we're trying to complete some of the backlog from last year. We thought we had a break, but we've got some heavy hitters right away here this year. We're going to replay Last of Us Part 2 on PS5. That, like we said, that comes out at midnight. Can't wait to do that again. But Final Fantasy 16, 7 Remake, we want to get out before Rebirth. So I think there used to be a stigma around.
There still is.
It's gotten better. It's still there. Much better.
I think maybe it's gotten better because we've gotten older and like we associate more with older gamers now too. I don't know if it's necessarily gotten better amongst like, the people, the younger folks that are playing games and the more hardcore, your Twitter commenters, your TikTok commenters. I don't know if it's really gotten better. I think we have just gotten better about it.
I mean, that could be, but like when you sit down to enjoy a game, right? Like you're a dad, you've got a young one at home. You work 40 hours a week on top of it. You got the Geekiverse going on. So when you sit down to play a game, you want to play a game and you don't necessarily want to be frustrated by it. You want it to keep moving. You and I care a lot about story and production value and all that. So like we want to enjoy that without being hindered. And that could be a part of it. So sure. I think that's super valid.
And here's the thing about Final Fantasy VII. There's only 2 modes. It's just easy and normal. So it's not like there's easy, It's not like there's story mode, easy, medium, hard, grandmaster, like Star Wars or whatever. It's really, it's not, yeah. It's not that much different. And I've flipped back to normal a few times, and I'm like, literally all this is it's just taking me longer. I'm not dying more. I'm not like, the enemies aren't harder. They just take longer to kill. So like, I'm getting all the same stuff. I'm still using the same tactics. I'm utilizing Tifa to beat people up, to get their to get them staggered. Then I'm using Barrett for the range attacks. Like I'm still having a blast with the combat, and like that's a testament to this game, because like I dropped it down to easy and the combat still shines, and I'm still getting all of the variety out of the combat. So yeah, if you're feeling like you want to drop a game to easy because that's the kind of experience you want from it, do it. I'm doing it. I'm loving it. It's
your experience, you know, like that's what I want to hear. We'll get to it in a minute, and when we talk about Xbox, but like I don't like when public or developers are like, play the game your way. No. Tell me what I should be doing here. If there's one way that it should be, it's like, no, that's where I'm going to experience what I want to. How difficult do I want this to be? Yeah. So I am playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's it for now. I'm going to be playing Last of Us Part 2 come midnight, so just a few hours away. And that's really it. So really excited to get more into both of those. And then in a few weeks here, I am going to be playing Suicide Squad, regardless of how good that game scores. I'm not the most confident. However, we had a nice string of tweets going on in our group chat with the Geekiverse that showed some promise. People are allowed to talk about their experience with the game. So there was kind of like a closed alpha that some games media got to play with. There's some big publishers like IGN who are like, yeah, this is what we thought it was. We're not a big fan of it, but there's others who do enjoy it. So it's rock steady. I've got faith because of the pedigree of that studio with the Arkham trilogy, and we're just going to have some fun with it.
What's the date on that one again?
That is February 2nd.
February 2nd. That's not in our calendar. You got to put that in there.
Well, it did move a few times.
It did move a few times.
Probably have it in last June.
I did have it in last June for a little while. You deleted it not too long ago. Yeah, we got to put that. Interesting. All right.
Yeah, I don't want to play too many games at once, but I'm going to be playing 3 because of The Last of Us here. But it is what it is. I'm just going to have to figure it out. My problem. Before we get to Xbox's developer news today, we got 2 other news bits to get to. Until Dawn is coming to the big screen, hopefully at some point. Until Dawn, video game movie in the works from David F. Sandberg and Gary Doberman. This is from the Hollywood Reporter. Filmmaker David F. Sandberg, who has spent the past several years in the land of superheroes, is returning to his horror roots. The Shazam helmer has signed a deal to direct Until Dawn, an adaptation of the PlayStation horror video game made by Screen Gems and PlayStation Productions. All 3 units fall under the Sony corporate umbrella. Gary Doberman, the screenwriter behind hit horror franchises It, Annabelle, and The Nun, is doing a pass on the script originally written by Blair Butler, who previously wrote Sony's vampire thriller The Invitation. John, you and I both really enjoyed this game. This is a perfect, campy, almost like a Quantic Dream-like game, right? It's a lot of quick-time events. You make a lot of decisions. Your characters can die. There's permadeath, all that good stuff.
Sure.
That was just a really good mix of all of it. So to see that this could be, coming to the big screen, this could be tailor-made for the big screen. We'll see how it executes, but what do you think about this?
Absolutely. I'm pumped about it. I think that the article got the developer wrong. Didn't Supermassive make this game? Who is Screen Gems? I've never heard of. I think they got that wrong.
So, no, I believe Screen Gems is involved with the movie production, is how I read that.
Got it.
Supermassive,
okay.
Yes, they did the game. You were correct.
Got it. Okay. I thought it was they said a PlayStation game made by Screen Gems. Like, what the heck is that? Okay, no, that's the Hollywood.
I believe they're collaborating on the movie.
That makes more sense. Yeah. I'm excited about it. Yeah. So I mean, like, Until Dawn is a very campy B-list horror movie made into a game with a lot of choices, and that was a ton of fun. And yeah, I think it'll translate well to the big screen. You're gonna lose the agency, obviously, in some of the choices and stuff that kind of made that game what it was. But I think at its core, it is a cheesy enough fun horror story. I don't think this is one of those video game adaptations that's really going to. Until Dawn doesn't have this huge audience. I don't think the game probably it did well enough, but it's a niche within a niche. do you like horror and do you like walking sim narrative games, right? Like you have to really be into both of those things to enjoy a game like Until Dawn. This isn't a movie that's going to be like catering towards those fans, and it's not gonna sell a ton based on that. I think this is just a good idea for a horror movie. I think that's what it's really going to be. It's just going to really be its own thing. I don't expect it's going to even care too much to be that faithful to the game. I don't know how many really nods and Easter eggs and things like that we'll get for the game. I think it's just like, this is a good idea for a horror movie, so we're going to make it into a movie.
I think that's exactly right. Like, this doesn't carry the cachet, right, of Mario, Sonic, The Last of Us going to the HBO, or even Uncharted. So I think you're right. It just makes sense. It could be fun. And I think if it is a good quality movie and does well, people are going to be like, oh my gosh, there's a video game.
Yeah. And you mentioned Uncharted. I think that's probably the closest one, because I think Uncharted was, of those. Uncharted obviously has a pretty big fan base and is, it's a big Sony IP, but I really think they attacked that movie more as like, hey, no, this is just like our pop culture, Indiana Jones movie that you can come see. And yeah, it happened to be a video game. That's a cool thing. And obviously those fans are going to be excited about it, but it doesn't really, it's not a 1-for-1. Like, we're really not going after the most authentic Nathan Drake. We're using Tom Holland because he's a big star and he's fun, right? We're not going after the most authentic Sully because like Mark Wahlberg certainly isn't that, right? So I think it's actually pretty similar to that, where it's like, it makes sense to adapt just because like it will sell because of the idea and because of the premise of what it is, not just the fact that it was a video game property.
I agree. Moving on to our next news item here from videogameschronicle.com. Larian Studio CEO Sven Vinke has said the company won't be putting any of its games on subscription services. Commenting on X, the Baldur's Gate 3 director said a world in which video game subscription services became the dominant business model would be bad for developers and consumers alike. Quote, whatever the future of video games look like, content will always be king. But it's going to be a lot harder to get good content if subscription becomes the dominant model and a select group gets to decide what goes to market and what not. Direct from developer to players is the way, end quote. They know what they're doing, right? Baldur's Gate 3 is one of the greatest video games of all time. What an incredible success it is. I think this is good news to hear that not every studio feels the same way.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice because it's almost easy for them to say, because they have Baldur's Gate 3, right? They've got this game that is deservedly getting all of these merits, and it's selling really well because they made a killer game. But it's just such an interesting conversation, because you look at other forms of media and you see how streaming and how digital has really affected them, right? We start with the music industry. We used to buy CDs, before that records and tapes, and you used to purchase your music and you would own it and you'd buy a copy of it. And then all of a sudden iTunes comes around and it's you buy a song here or there, and then streaming comes around and no one's buying music at all. And that really, really changed the music industry. You hear those conversations all the time. And there's still huge fights going on for like proper streaming royalties. Like, you hear some of the stories, like a guy like Snoop Dogg had like 2 billion plays on his music this year, and he got like $40,000 from it, right? Like something crazy like that, right? Like one of the most popular artists in the world who made like, less than the household income in the United States on his music this year. So like crazy stories like that. So it's interesting to think about like what is that a dangerous thing for video games? Like, is that a risk? Like, are we gonna have to worry about the way these games are made and the way that these developers and these publishers are compensated for said games? It's something that since Game Pass it has really taken off, I've not really worried about. I've just pondered. I do think that games are inherently different. I think that we interact with them in a very different way. So I don't know if it'll ever get to that point, because I don't think we're ever going to get to the point where it truly can be that convenient, where you can really just click a button and try a game, click a button, try another. I don't think cloud's ever going to get that good where that's going to be a thing. But it's an interesting conversation to have.
And as my answer would be with most things, I think balance is good here. I love Game Pass. We talked about Xbox Game Pass since the beginning of the show and before, but I don't want everything to go that way. I want it to just be an option. I want that to be a rotating library of titles. And hey, all your first party Xbox stuff is going to be on there, and that's including some really big stuff in the future. We've already got it from Bethesda. We're going to see it from Activision Blizzard. That's fine. I'm fine with that. But I like also having what PlayStation's doing with their first party stuff. And I like what Nintendo's doing. And then on the flip side, if we shift gears, it's funny to see this cycle so quickly with movies. I like owning physical media. I don't have to own all of it, but I also like Disney Plus. So I'm fine with streaming. I'm fine with having to buy a 4K Blu-ray. I'm fine with having to get a physical copy of a game, and also good with Xbox Game Pass. I think we can have both of them. So you're right. You know, a studio like Larian, who just dominated the video game world in the biggest year of gaming ever, that's okay. They got the clout to throw that opinion out there, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you. I like the variants. I love Game Pass too. It's not something I'm not anti subscription service. But you know, like you said, balance is key. I would never want to see games being developed for their monetization strategy, even though we obviously do already see that with free to play and stuff like that. I just would never want, you know, the majority of games, or the way that developers start to approach games, really be affected by like how they have to monetize them, and whether or not, you know, Microsoft will add them to Game Pass and what that deal looks like for them. Interesting. We'll check back in on this in 5 years and see where we are, right?
Yeah, we'll have to resurface and look at that clip of you just talking about what that may look like. Let's get into it. Xbox Developer Direct. They did this last year. It was successful. Of note that every game they showed in that Direct for 2023, all the games came out that year. So we had a pretty good inkling that we're going to see a lot of the same this year. So we didn't know until we saw it, though. Earlier today, we saw not 4, but 5 games. A little nice surprise there, like how the presentation style took us around. But before we get into the first game, John, what do you think of the presentation style? What do you think of Microsoft? How'd they do overall here? It was about 45 minutes or so.
Oh yeah, they crushed it. They're 2 for 2 with these developer directs. I think it's an awesome format. I prefer this over anything that we've gotten in the past with any of these smaller presentations. The exception was like the PlayStation showcases, because like those are basically their E3, right? When they do the PlayStation showcases, they have got such big news that it's tough not to be in love with those, right? We're getting Miles Morales and God of War Ragnarok, and like we're getting the heavy hitters, so that's almost like a given, right? But of these smaller ones, your Nintendo Directs, your PlayStation States of Play, even the other ones Xbox has tried, the Inside Xbox, they had another one, they named it a few years ago. This developer showcase has been, the developer direct has been the coolest way to do it. Even like you said, you mentioned it in our chat when we were talking about this, just like the video game, the video package, the art style of like the scribbling on like a notepad. Yes. Going back and forth from developer to developer, and just to literally take the camera. It's very Apple-esque. If you're into Apple at all and you watch any of like Apple's keynotes, they kind of take the camera and they zoom right into the lab where they're working on it, and you're talking right with one of the developers, and they kind of give you an insight. It is very Apple-esque in that way. But yeah, I think that they crushed it in terms of like the games we got and the information we got about them, but in presentation as well. I would give this a 5 out of 5. I'm always excited when these developer directs come around.
It was so cool, and I hope this is the template moving forward, or we get some variation of it. But you got the 4 games that they were scheduled to talk about on screen, so there's some nice transparency there. We're not guessing. They would basically zoom into the game that they're talking about. They would pencil in some stuff. You get the game as it zooms out and it's about to transition to the new one. They pencil in fall 2024. So it's like a graphic card at the end that you could screenshot, or, I'm sure we'll have in a thumbnail form or something or other. But like, I love that. So very good presentation from Microsoft. Same, I'd give it a 5 out of 5 from that aspect. But let's get into the games. So first up, I would say pretty highly anticipated game from Obsidian, who has such a wonderful pedigree and a long pedigree at this point. Listen, I don't think they're Insomniac. I think Insomniac is like top of the. I'm gonna put them there, but I think they've got a similar track record. Insomniac is like Sony's. I would say so far in this console generation, with Ratchet and Clank and the 2 Spider-Man games that we've gotten, they're the AAA studio that cranks out the most. So we got quantity and quality. How do they sleep, right? I feel like Obsidian is a little bit that for Microsoft.
It's the closest analog they have for sure, right? I agree with you that I think that Insomniac's games, and maybe it's just they speak to you and I more. That could be the case. But I would say that they're maybe just a little bit better in terms of quality, production value, and like, you know, up on the pedigree. But yeah, that's the closest analog. Obsidian is just, they're making games, man. They put out what was Outer Worlds. They put out a huge DLC for the Outer Worlds. They put out Pentiment, Grounded. Like, they just keep making games. And they're all so different, kind of like what we see over at Insomniac, right?
Yeah. Every time you think, you know, they drop a game and then we're like, okay, we know this Xbox studio is next with their big title, and then this one probably next year. Obsidian just keeps cutting the line, man. They're like, hey, we're going to do another game up, and we're coming out with another one next year. Like, they kill it. So, Avowed, let's talk about the game.
Dude. I'm
going to say, John, there's nothing here that like blew my mind. This is definitely not a Josiah Leroy-esque game, or ass game, I should say. But I want to play this game. Like, it's Xbox. I'm excited to use my Series X this year.
I'm interested. So I will say that the first trailer we got from this game, like the reveal trailer, I'm like, I don't really care about this. A medieval RPG from Obsidian, who I know does good work, but they're pretty Bethesda-esque when it comes to the way they do their RPGs. Obviously, that's why they made Fallout New Vegas, right? But yeah. That first trailer didn't do much for me at all. This kind of did. I thought this was pretty cool. The art style, like, you've got this medieval backdrop with like these magical set pieces, which I think are beautiful. The character design is really cool, and the combat is the coolest thing for me. You've got magic in the form of actually wielding a wand, which we've honestly never seen in games other than Harry Potter games before. So pretty cool to be able to like cast magic with wands. You've got swords and you've got guns, and you can dual wield all of the three interchangeably. I'm kind of in on this, man. I'm pretty interested. I think that with the Obsidian charm and the writing and the way they make their games, this could be the first Obsidian game that really hits for me.
You know, I love the direction that we've been told by Xbox with this game. We're not trying to be Skyrim, right? Like,
I love that.
We have our plenty of 300-hour RPG games out there. This is a shorter, maybe closer to 40-ish hour RPG that you can play. Hey, you know, that speaks to me immediately because I don't feel like I'm going to have to play this forever.
And that's developer math. So, you know, that means 25 hours if you're really going to like mainline path it. Probably very similar to what the Outer Wilds was, which was awesome. And I will say that I actually kind of I did enjoy Outer Wilds for a while. I never finished it, but I put a good amount of time into that game. Obsidian, they know what they're doing.
I was going to say Outer Worlds. Oh,
I keep saying Wilds. Yeah, Worlds.
Those came out within like a small window of each other. But
for sure.
Outer Worlds, like I think you enjoyed that. Like the marketing for that game and every trailer I've ever seen for it looks so fun. Like, I had it downloaded at one point on my Xbox One X. I never played it.
It is honestly the Fallout game that I like the most. You know, like it is the best Fallout game I think that exists. Because it's what I wanted Starfield to be. It is the Bethesda RPG. Obviously I know that this is not actually a Bethesda game. But like it's what I want from those games. It's a little sillier than the Bethesda stuff. It takes place in space. It's a little more colorful. Combat is kind of not what I want, just like Bethesda RPGs. But yeah, of all of the Bethesda style RPGs, the Fallout games I've played, including the Obsidian stuff, because I did try New Vegas as well. That's the best one.
I think the presentation for this was really strong. That team seems passionate, even, you know, in how they spoke about this game. They did lose me when they basically were like, play the story the way you want to. I was like, no,
shut up.
We're not
Don't
doing
say
that. That's a Bethesda thing. Leave it with them. But man,
leave that in 2015.
Seriously, let's get over that. Xbox is kind of the RPG console with all these RPGs that are in development, right?
100%.
Like,
I mean, yeah, they purchased Bethesda and they purchased Obsidian, two studios that like they are the Western RPG studios. You think of Western RPGs and it's those two. You can maybe throw Rockstar in there with what they do, but that's really those are the three.
I kind of love it, and I'm not a huge RPG guy overall, so like it's just. I don't know. I think this game's going to do well. I hope it really scores well. I hope it's a hit for Xbox.
Yeah.
We don't have a date, but we have a window, and it's fall of 2024. And, you know, I could see September, October being perfect for that. So,
I can too. I can also see it being delayed. Anytime you're within a calendar year, and when you're announcing the year of the game in that year and you don't give me the date, I'm not that confident in that date. If you were if you were to give me this 2024 window last year, I would be a little confident in it. But since we're in that calendar year and you're just telling me 2024, I'm less confident. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm less confident.
Well, John, we did get a date for one of these games, and that date is only 4 months and change away. That's May 21st. Senua Saga Hellblade 2.
Yeah.
That was a game, Ryan McCaffrey called this from IGN. They on Next Gen Watch. He said if there's a game like that, on this list that Xbox is going to show that has a release date, it's going to be Hellblade. And he's like, and I can also see it being a late spring, maybe early summer game. So kudos to Ryan for calling that one. But man, I love Hellblade. I cannot talk about that game enough. Like, this is the Alan Wake show right now. That this is eventually going to become the Hellblade show. Dude, I'm so happy that we got a release date finally because, John drafted this game in fantasy draft in 2019, I think.
2020.
And, it looks good. Again, the team behind it showed a lot of passion. I love what they talked about in terms of how they're bringing psychosis to a new level in a video game. Even to the music standpoint, which is mind blowing to me. You have to play this game with a headset
for sure.
Before I get too off the path here, John, like, what did you think of Hellblade 2 from what we saw today?
I'm excited we got a date. I'm really pumped about that. We didn't see too much of the game. We just saw a couple of clips. I guess we don't really need to. We already kind of we've gotten enough showings of this game. It was certainly time to get our release date. I don't want to be a hater, but obviously, but honestly, the more I see about this game, the less I really care about it. It's one of those things where it's like, all right, I've seen it. That certainly is probably due to the fact that I haven't played the first game, so I have no touchstone for it. But with this game coming, I will certainly go through and play the first game. It's not supposed to be that long of a game. Good news is that's what they're aiming for again with this one. A shorter, more focused narrative. I think I shared in the chat that it's going to be a cheaper title. It's only going to be $50 instead of the traditional $60 and now $70. It's going to be a digital only thing. So a smaller production, which I think is kind of crazy for how long it's taken to make this game. But I can't really fault them. This team is so meticulous. They put so much work. Like, the game is just gorgeous, dude. Like, it's going to be the showpiece for what games can be, like, especially the fact that these games come out on PC as well. Like, this game is going to be what NVIDIA uses to show off their 4090s and all of their like ray tracing and all the incredible stuff that they do. This one's going to be a showpiece. In the audio stuff, I'm so pumped about. I'm so excited about. They used a phrase that I'm familiar with. I've messed around with. It's called binaural audio. Have you ever heard anything with binaural audio? Or have you ever heard that phrase before?
I definitely have not heard the phrase before. I couldn't tell you if I did, or if they even used it in the first game. So
it's not like a patented tech or anything. I'm almost positive it's more like a scientific phrase, like where headphone audio can literally trick your brain into thinking things are like spatially where they are. If you're ever bored, look up binaural audio test on YouTube and use a pair of good headphones. Some of the most bizarre stuff. There's this one specifically that I want to send you that you're sitting there.
No.
It's so crazy, dude. It is scary. It is scary for a second, but it's so crazy. You're sitting there and it's a knock, and your body will 100% believe that there's somebody knocking on the wall behind you. It's so visceral and it's so real, and like it's just the way that, like, the fact that this game is going. Oh, so Courtney's in the chat. She said it's insane. I've made my wife listen to this as well. Like, binaural audio is nuts, and the fact that they're doing this in the game. If they can pull it off the way some of like the tests I've seen can do that kind of stuff, like I'm really excited for the way they handle it.
John, I gotta say, I think you should play the first game. Like,
I'm going to 100%. Yeah. So like before, I'm definitely going to. It's something that you know me. It's up my alley. It's narrative driven. It's short. It's beautiful. I just never got around to it. But with the second one coming out, 100%.
I think that you will really connect with this game from a narrative standpoint and what it does. And you and I like some of these heavy emotional games. We talked about Alan Wake, but Last of Us comes to mind. If I could say some of the emotional weight and impact in a different way that you feel in the Last of Us games, mixed with more of a setting and a loose combat style based on God of War, the most recent games. Not as much. Just
Sure.
you'll see influence, so to speak.
That hand to
came out
hand.
before it.
Yeah, that hand to hand, close combat, close quarters combat, like slower, methodical combat.
Like I think you will really, really enjoy it, and it's funny because like I've been banging the drum for Alan Wake 2 for 2 years now. Thank goodness that game was good, and I kept telling people you don't have to play the first game. Like I love that game, but you don't have to play that before the second one. I don't know that obviously with Hellblade 2, but I think you should. It's probably anywhere from 8 to 9 hours. Like it is short, but it's heavy.
That's the thing.
Want this to be a 20-hour game for
sure. Yeah, I respect that. I appreciate that. Like sometimes you just need those shorter experiences, especially when we're dealing with heavy stuff like this. Yeah, I mean, it's short enough and it's new enough. Like this game came out in what 2017 or 2019.
I believe 2017 and then came to Xbox in 19.
Right. So yeah, 2017, the game's new enough. Like it's, it came out the same year as Horizon Zero Dawn. Like those are good looking games still. They run great. Like it's still a modern game. There's no reason for me not to play the first one. It's on Game Pass. I think I have it on PlayStation Plus collection from back when it was on there as well. Yeah. So I'm for sure going to play it. So
they not only do some amazing stuff from an audio standpoint, they do some really amazing visual stuff. Yes, there is just beautiful graphics and environments and character models, but man, some of the stuff that they do in game, which I won't spoil for you, and the way they film these actors in the booth, and we saw Senua's likeness and voice actress on the presentation today. It was really, really awesome. But that is very unique and not in many video games too. So I think Hellblade 2, like I hope that crushes it for Xbox, and what a tone that could set relatively early in the year for a big fall for them. So yeah, I can't wait. I'm so happy we finally got a release date on that. And I'm very confident this close into it, that's going to stick. We've been talking about this game for a damn long time.
For sure. So. It's coming. It's coming in May, no doubt.
Pizza bet? Just kidding. Visions of Mana, summer 2024. This is a big deal. So this was the game that was not teased prior to the show.
Yeah, this was their little surprise. All of a sudden, a fifth square popped up, and we've got another game. I like the way they did the presentation too. It was almost like they're getting hacked. Like, oh, special, extra presenter, or whatever they said. It was cool the way they did it, and they took us by surprise. Not quite the level of surprise we got when Hi-Fi Rush was shadow dropped available today type thing from last year, but still fun that they could fit in a surprise and keep us on our toes.
Dude, 100%. Like, Hi-Fi Rush just needs more praise, man. What a game! But
need to play that too.
That's a game I have to circle back to. I played a good chunk of it. It's just colorful. It's rhythmic. It's beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
Tango Softworks known for that.
Yeah, right. They're beautiful, colorful games.
What a studio, man. They're like, hey, we can make this really awesome Resident Evil like horror game, but now we can make this game look like it came from a Burger King like
seriously
cartoon in the 90s.
Remember Jet Set Radio? We're gonna do that.
yeah, exactly. So Visions of Mana, this is a big deal. The first one coming to Xbox consoles, and I believe they said the first new mainline game in 15 years,
dude. Yeah.
Colorful game. I love the insight. I don't know a ton about this franchise, admittedly. I've been distant to it, but hearing some of the development team talk about how they're creating the monsters and what the environments look like. This is not probably a game that I will play, but I'm excited. This is a big name to again have on an Xbox console. Does this move the needle for you at all? Like, what do you think? I'm
so interesting with JRPGs because like they make showings like this and they look so interesting, and I love the art style and I love the music, and I really do enjoy turn-based like JRPG combat. There are so many times where I dive into these games and I get addicted, like Personas, like I do with some Final Fantasy games, and I'm almost always so high on them and so pumped on them, but I rarely actually try them. Like games like Octopath Traveler, that one, like, oh my god, it looks so cool. I wanted to play it. Even like recently, Sea of Stars, which I am going to get to for sure. But these games, like, they showcase, and I'm like, dude, that's gorgeous. That music's awesome. I see myself getting lost in that combat. I just don't get to it. partially because they're such a huge time commitment. Like these are long games, or so like they're 60 to 90 hour games for the most part. I don't know if that's true with the Mana games. Like you, I've never played one. I'm sure our friend Tim Tells has played Mana games. It just I would bet a pizza on that Tim has played a Mana game before, and that he's excited about this. But yeah, looks cool. I always see these games and I always hope that I'll try them out. So same thing here. Probably won't try it on Xbox because JRPGs are handhelds to me. Like those are like, I wanna do a couple of turn-based battles, walk through a city, and then be able to lock my handheld and come back to it whenever I want. That's just a product of my experience with like my DSs and my Vitas. Like that's where I played those games. So that's where they're always going to speak to me. So I probably won't play that on Xbox because there's no handheld analog to it. But PlayStation has one.
John, I think Xbox should consider making an Xbox. I don't even know what you call it. Maybe like an Xbox Portal. But the thing is, I think no one would buy it. You know. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Who's that for? There's just no need for it, right? Nobody wants to be able to just stream their Xbox to their hand. Like, yeah, whatever. Never do it.
It wouldn't even come out, and then just like, I don't know, let's say 2 months randomly. 2 months after that, you couldn't find it anywhere on retail.
There's no reason that would happen.
It's a bizarre scenario.
Sounds far-fetched to me.
I digress. So speaking of a game, another game that you and I probably are not playing.
Yeah.
Our History Untold, another fall 2024 game from the makers of Civilization. Again, happy this exists. It's not for me.
I don't think it's from the developers. I think it's just some people from that team started this team.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but
this is not for us.
I'm happy. I'm happy for you guys. I hope this game is sick. I hope you guys have a cool game.
You like Visions of Mana? 60 to 90 hours. Like this is going to be way past that. This is a game where this is all you play.
This is all you play. You invest in this.
There's a universe where you and I play those massive RPGs, and that's all we play.
There's no universe where we play these.
Yes, there is.
Not these ones.
Into the Spider-Verse. Come on, oh my gosh. Okay.
There are universes where you and I play the massive RPGs like the Mana games and stuff like that because we have that person. That's what I'm saying. Right. I'm talking about.
I'm not saying Ara.
Got it. I'm agreeing with you. Yes, there's a universe where we play those games. There's no universe where you and I play Ara and care about it.
No, I agree because like. I could feel all the other universe Josiah's. Like, I'm like, hey, I'm happy that one is enjoying Trials of Mana.
For sure.
But there's none where I'm like, hey, Civ was cool.
No, I don't. I just don't care. And like, hey, it is not.
It has nothing to do with the quality of the game.
It doesn't. Like, again, we know like some of the highest reviewing games. I think Civ is like one of the best selling game franchises of all time. Y'all eat,
bonkers.
Enjoy your games, do what you got to do. It's not for us.
No, and that's fine. But John, a game that we're going to play the hell out of.
This game's for us, Joe.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I was smiling the whole time I was watching this. Oh my gosh, dude. I'm not a huge Indiana Jones fan. Not at all. Like, we talk about like Hogwarts and how I'm like, hey, I'm a casual Harry Potter fan. I'm not even a casual Indiana Jones fan. But I tell you what. You don't have
to be, though, because we're Uncharted fans.
Yes. So the likeness of Indy, I was so curious, dude. What was that going to be? We got Harrison Ford.
Right.
Troy Baker?
I don't know. I'm like, there's no way that's Harrison Ford. Like, it's obviously off.
Made me question it at first.
A couple of times. Yeah.
It's Troy, right?
I didn't hear that. I don't know.
I think it's Troy Baker.
Oh, if you that could be fun. That could be fun. I didn't pick up on that.
Halfway through the this portion of the conference, I was like, that's Troy Baker. Watch it again and tell me I'm wrong.
I can usually spot Troy from a mile away, so that's gonna be it'll be a fun one if that's him.
If it's not, my mind will be blown.
Interesting.
Like, oh my gosh! And as it went on towards the second half of it, I heard what I thought were more Troy things. And
Got it. Like, it is one of those things where once you hear his voice, you can't unhear it. It's like, to me, it's like my first introduction to Troy Baker, when I knew who Troy Baker was Booker DeWitt from BioShock Infinite. So now anytime like when I hear Troy's voice in a character, I'm like, oh, there's Booker. Like, that's kind of the way I go. Just like kind of like a joke. I love Troy. He's incredible. But I didn't get those. I didn't get the notes. So I'm excited to rewatch it and to listen for that. No, I'm not saying I'm not saying I disagree with you. I trust you. I trust you.
Tonight I want you to watch some of that and just tell me what you think. But guys, Machine Games, I'm a huge fan of them from what they did with the Wolfenstein, the modern day Wolfenstein games. Those are some of my favorite experiences. I was curious, was this going to be a first person game? Because those games were first person shooters. This is more of an action adventure game, like an Uncharted, like a Tomb Raider. Of course, there's gunplay in it, but what was it going to look like? Well, we got our answer. It's first person. Holy shit. But cool. There's third person elements to it, which look like an Uncharted game.
It's smart. You like they brought it up. Like you need to have that silhouette. Like you need those iconic moments or those iconic visuals. I want to back up from Machine Games for a second. How about the fact that this was the idea of Mr. Todd Howard? This was Todd Howard's idea. Obviously, not the director of Machine Games. He's he's the director of Bethesda Softworks. The fact that this was his pitch, and he's like, "Hey, I don't have time for this. I'm making Starfield. I'm making the next Elder Scrolls. Like, I'd love to make this game. Who can I pick for this?" He gives it to Machine Games, and he's producing it. How cool is that?
So cool, dude, because you can tell, again, what's a common theme here. A lot of these developers have passion for what they're working on. We know Todd Howard loves his RPGs, right? Like that's what he does. He's good at that. But for him to direct something like this, damn. So that is huge. I was so curious when this game got announced. I was like, I don't know if we'll ever see it.
Yeah.
I feel like this is one where it's like, hey, Disney is trying to recoup its investment on Star Wars. They happen to get, no offense, the redheaded stepchild, which is Indiana Jones, is part of it.
But yeah, I don't know.
Then they circle back and we see this. It was, by the way, I'm not shortchanging Indiana Jones. That trilogy is very well thought of. Not so much the next two movies, much like Star Wars. But
I've been very confident in everything that Disney and Lucasfilm Games have been doing ever since the Star Wars Battlefront stuff. Ever since that,
basically since Lucasfilm Games became a label.
Exactly. Ever since that deal with that 10-year deal with EA didn't really work out the way they wanted it to. They canceled more games than they put out, and a couple of those games came out to some controversy. Ever since that, the Lucasfilm Games leg of the company has been established. They've been more picky and choosy. We've gotten our Star Wars Jedi Fallen Orders and our Jedi Survivors. We've gotten announcements like our Star Wars Outlaws. We've seen fun games, Square Enix Avengers, but which was hit or miss for a lot of people. Guardians of the Galaxy was incredible. So like we've gotten more good than bad, way more good than bad since those failures. So I was confident once I saw that Indiana Jones was announced, and especially once a Bethesda studio was attached to it. I didn't think there was any chance this wasn't going to be a real thing and a pretty good thing.
This looks like it may be the coolest Xbox exclusive, or at least console exclusive, in a long time, man. This is really awesome.
I have not been more excited for an Xbox game since Halo Infinite, and even this might eclipse that, because like that was a known quantity. It was the next Halo game. I'm a big Halo fan, but like this is cool, dude. I love Uncharted. I love Tomb Raider, and obviously those games were heavily inspired by Indiana Jones, like on the nose with Uncharted, obviously. So yeah, that's so cool to see what an actual Indiana Jones game looks like. I'm with you. Machine Games, I love those Wolfenstein games. They're so much fun, and they thrive in first person. They figure out interesting ways for you to interact with the environment in first person. And that whip combat in first person looks so sick. So sick.
It looks so good. Like it
satisfying.
Looks like they really fit. I mean, they have to, right? They have to make sure that works out. That's iconic. It's got to feel right. It's got to be effective. And it seemed like that, at least from seeing it, not playing it, but seeing it, that they did it. Like it looks amazing.
For sure. While I was watching the gameplay segments, all I could think about, and I don't know why, but I'm like, dude, I want somebody to throw a vase at me and I want to whip the vase out of the sky. I'm like, that's like the first place my mind went. I'm like, that needs to be like a constant gameplay element. Like I need to be inside of museums and people better be chucking glass at me and I better be whipping that glass out of the sky, because that sounds so sweet.
I couldn't agree more, man. The villain for this game, the name and the actor escape me, but that is an Indiana Jones villain through and through.
That's a Wolfenstein villain through and through as well.
It is. Dude. Oh my gosh, there are so many elements of this.
Yeah,
where
this is so Machine Games. Like this is obviously Indiana Jones, but this is Machine Games.
The development team and where they're from, a lot of their voices and those accents, therefore, go into the Wolfenstein games. And I was feeling that today, and I was just like, I can't believe a studio like that gets to do this, right? Like, what a title. This could be sick. We didn't even get a season. We just got a 2024 time frame. I could see this one getting bumped, but at the same time, I'm like, give me this game in November, please.
For sure. What a fun holiday release this would be. Like, what a great showing. Great showing. I mean, the fact that this was a developer direct, I was pretty sure we'd be getting more than just like a quick tease. Like, I was confident we'd see some gameplay, but there's always that like, dang, is it too far away? Like, are we just gonna get like a quick little like, hey, this game is actually real. Here's more than a splash screen. We'll see in a year for the next update. I'm so glad we didn't. I'm so glad we got like a good trailer. We got some developer diaries. We got some fun hijinks. Did you see Todd Howard at the end steal the thing in the background? How cool is that stuff, man? I love the vibe from the whole presentation.
When Avowed was the kickoff, that made sense for the press conference. I was like, it's funny how my mind gravitated more intensely than I ever thought to, okay, I want to see Indiana Jones. What does this game look like? What's it called? Give me anything you can, any juicy detail. Well, Avowed happens, and I'm like, okay, maybe we'll see it second. Then we see Senua, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're headlining. Indiana Jones is the freaking headliner. So, we get through Mana and Ara, and I was in all my glory, man. I think it's the perfect studio. I think Todd Howard is the guy to do this. I'm so excited to see what it actually looks like. I want another one of these deep dives into the game, maybe in 3 or 4 months. I really hope this hits this year. I think it will. I think we're far enough along in it that it's probably safe, but it's a roll of the dice.
Let's talk about that. This year for Xbox, if Avowed, Hellblade, and Indiana Jones all hit, if those 3 games, and I'm leaving out the other one because like we're talking like, your mass market big sellers, like if those 3 games, Xbox published exclusives, I don't care if they're exclusive, I don't care if they come out on PlayStation and Switch, I just want Xbox to be making good games again. Like, I just want Xbox to be, I want them to have this year. I want them to be like, I want to look back at 2024 and be like, yo, Xbox crushed it. We got 3 bangers from their studios. I think there's a real possibility of that.
John, these like, I don't want to jinx anything, but Obsidian, again, great track record. I think Avowed is a pretty safe bet. I think Hellblade 2 has been just in development for so long, and what we saw from the first game there with Ninja, like, that's going to be amazing. I think that game is legitimately going to be amazing. Not just good, but great.
Yeah,
Game of the year contender. And then Machine Games, that pedigree. So a quick backtrack. I keep talking about how I want Suicide Squad to be good, but I'm worried about how the model of the game will execute, because I don't think people want it anymore. I don't think it was ever great, especially when we talk about Avengers in 2020, by the way, 4 years ago. I love Rocksteady. I think they're one of the best studios in gaming, but we haven't seen anything from them in 9 years. A lot has changed. The owner or the founders, Sefton Hill, they've all moved on. WB makes some questionable decisions, right? They have their hand in too many pies. I don't know that game's going to be good. I hope it is. I'm so much more confident that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is going to be a very good game, because I think Microsoft has largely been like, hey, Machine Games, go do your thing. Have fun with it. Take as long as you need.
Right.
And if Game Pass was not a thing, these 3 are system sellers.
For sure. 100%. Like, yes, I am for sure buying Hellblade. I'm for sure buying Indie, and I'm looking out for those reviews on Avowed, and I'm excited to want to buy that, even if Game Pass isn't a thing. Right.
Dude, so exciting. In a moment here, before we wrap up the show, we do have another new segment. John's going to introduce some new trivia, because we love trivia here at the Geekiverse. But in wrapping this up, John, any final thoughts on what we got from today's Xbox Developer Direct? I think Indiana Jones is the most anticipated title for both of us on this list. I don't think there's any question.
Right.
But give me your wrapping thoughts on that.
I'm happy to be higher on Avowed than I thought I would be. I'm happy to be cautiously optimistic about that game. Like that was the best case scenario for the way this game was going to show, is to get me interested and to see more about it and to see how it reviews and to see if it's something I want to try. And the luxury of Game Pass means that I can literally just click a button and play it. So very excited about that, and more so just excited about, like we talked about all episode, a banner year for Microsoft. They need it. They deserve it. And what timing, right? Like, PlayStation's really got nothing this year that we have announced. Like, there's not a major PlayStation 5 exclusive first party title that I can even think of that's coming out this year. So like, what a time! What this? I'm sure they just lucked into it. But for these three heavy hitters to possibly all be hitting in the same calendar year, in which PlayStation has nothing, just cool for Microsoft to own the conversation for a year.
Yeah, Nintendo, stay out of the way, please. Just kidding.
They're not gonna. Yeah. Right, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with both of those two. Like I've played nothing but my PlayStation over these last like 5 years. I can take some time to focus on my other two friends here.
Dude, you and I have talked about it a lot. I want to give my Xbox Series X some major love this year.
All right, it's a cool device. Apparently, dude, I hear it's cool.
It seems pretty cool. I got a fridge that looks like it. You know. Here's the thing. My hope for this, my wrapping thought, I think Xbox killed it. It was fun. They made me even enjoy the presentation with games I didn't care about. And the ones I did care about, they made me want to dive into tomorrow. So if they execute on all of these, this is going to be a banner year for Xbox. What I want at least one of these to be in the conversation when we're talking in December, John, at the Game Awards. Does one of these games make that list? Does one get nominated for Game of the Year? I think Hellblade is the probable choice, but I could be wrong.
I think Indie could do it, yeah.
What if Avowed is off the charts? What if Indiana Jones is just bonkers good? Machine Games just makes the best Uncharted game they possibly could. Sign me up.
Me too.
Sign me up, man.
So excited for the potential, man. So excited.
How about, I said final thought, but like I didn't talk about, you can go into any of those missions with stealth. You can go guns a-blazing. Like it's a linear game, we believe, but there's options on how you can play it. And that's even, I would say, a little bit Last of Us. Do I go in and try to stealth, or do I go in and try to just destroy everyone I can and be loud about it? Like, this is going to be great.
I loved how they made a point to focus on the fact that like this is going to be pretty heavily puzzle based. Like, this is an Indiana Jones game. Like, there's going to be puzzles. You're going to be using your mind a lot and trying to figure out environmental puzzles, not just combat. Because I think we get, obviously we're never going to stop comparing this game to Uncharted. It's never going to stop. It's obviously like the closest thing we have in the games industry. But like Uncharted's a combat game. You go through, you mow people down, and you get to the end of the tomb, and there's like a puzzle to do, right? I'd be excited to see this be more puzzle based, kind of like Tomb Raider.
I agree. And hey, it's always going to compare those two franchises because it inspired them.
For sure.
What if this game is really good?
Full circle, if you will. Full
circle. That's my man right there. All right, John, I'm gonna pass it over to you. What are we playing? We got a new trivia game here.
We do. So the idea is to have a bunch of new trivia games. If you're on TikTok, people love trivia, and it's so much fun. There's so many TikToks out there about people doing like sports trivia, just like, can you name the top 5 quarterbacks to throw touchdowns and like quick stuff like that, right? Like, that's a huge thing on TikTok, and I think it could be really fun to do for video games. So I want to establish some sort of segment here where I just bring you a different mini trivia game each week. We got to come up with a name for it. I'm thinking like gaming games or like video game games, something like that. Some kind of play on the fact that we're playing a game about games. We'll workshop it. We'll come up with an official title. But Joe, today I've got a game for you called 20 Words or Less. And the 20 words or less are actually for me to worry about, because I've got a list of 8 words for you, all video game adjacent words. And I'm going to give you a word and see if you can get these 8 words. So I'm going to go one by one. So I've got it listed out. It's going to be on screen. You don't have the stream up, do you?
I do not.
Okay, good. Don't put the stream up because you're going to be cheating. I'm going to know.
Hang on.
Because I am giving the list to the viewers. I've got it on screen.
This call?
No, you sure don't. You sure don't. Yeah, so I've got the list up. I've got 8 video game words. I'm going to say a word or a couple. I can use as many words as I want, but I've got 20 or less. I've got to get you to say all 8 of these words using 20 or less words on my end.
Interesting. What an interesting like number dynamic there.
It is. And like I'm thinking, why not 10? But I'm watching these TikToks and everyone's doing 8, and it seems to be like the right dynamic. I think I may have gone a little easy for you just to like ease things into it. Okay. Again, the idea of the segment is we'll play a bunch of different trivia games. I'm sure we'll come back to 20 words or less too, because we'll see how fun it is. But are you ready, Joe?
Let's do it.
We're starting what I think is pretty easy. Okay. Metal.
Metal Gear Solid.
These are just one word. So I'm giving you a word. I'm giving you a word. You're giving me one word. So metal.
Oh my gosh. Twisted.
Solid.
Okay.
No. So you didn't get it. I'll tell you if you got it. You didn't get it. So my next word for that same clue is solid.
So gear.
Yes.
Is that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So I figured it would take 1 or 2 to get the cadence. Yep. So totally understood. So yeah. So I used 2 words on that, right? So you got the first one. Ready for the next one?
Yes. Hang on, real quick. So there's 8 we're gonna go through. That was the first one.
Correct.
You have 20 words collectively for those 8.
Yep. I can only give you 20 words to finish this list. I'm at 2 so far.
18 left. You're saying?
Correct. I'm keeping track on my end. Yep. So I have to use 20 words or less to help you clear this list.
Okay.
So we've got 2 words down. You've got the first word down. Are you ready for the next one?
Yes. And I'm sorry. One more question.
You're fine. Yes, no, you're good. You're good.
They're not necessarily related. They're just video game.
They're not related to each other at all.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Now I am ready.
Okay. Bio.
Shock.
Got it. This one going to be a little tougher. The first 2 I thought were softballs. I guess I didn't realize that metal could go somewhere else but gear, but that's okay. Multiplayer.
Game.
Couch.
Co-op.
Got it. So I've used 5 words so far, and we're through 3. Okay. Motion control.
Joy-Con.
Xbox.
Connect.
Yep.
Okay.
There it is. I figured it was gonna be tough. I figured I might have to burn a couple on that one. So you're halfway there. I've used 8. This is a bit of a trickier one.
Okay.
Well, where do I want to go with this? I literally use the website that randomly generates video game terms. So there, and I didn't even prep these ones for myself. I've got
that's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't. I selected ones that seemed fun, but I didn't think about like what clues I would give you for them. I just grabbed like 8 that seemed fun. You know, I didn't prep the clues. I prepped the
Sure.
Okay, this is going to take more than one. BioShock.
Infinite.
Powers.
Oh man. Okay.
Are you just having trouble thinking of the name?
No, I have no idea where you're going with it.
Okay.
BioShock Powers. So like, okay. Maybe I am having trouble thinking of the name. It's so funny. I just talked about BioShock with someone at work today.
This is one of the more specific ones.
Damn.
If you want to skip it, we can come back to it.
I may skip it. Give me 1 second here. Kind of on a path in my head. BioShock Powers. Yeah, I can't think of the name. Let's circle back to that one.
All right, that's fine. I've used 10 so far. We're moving on to the 6th one. We missed number 5 so far, but we can get back to it. I have confidence in you. I'm gonna burn at least 2 here. I think Mario.
Odyssey.
Enemy.
Goomba.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Planet.
I'm not saying this.
You're
I'm
not saying
just
it.
saying.
You're not saying this. You're just saying.
Planet Alpha was my first thing because Planet Alpha is a game, and we were talking about a few things that were like smaller scale games, like Planet of Lana. Okay,
Right.
Planet.
Planet.
I need another word.
Okay, that's fine. Survivor.
Survivor. What? Dude, I don't know.
Don't overthink this. Use those two clues together.
Jedi? No. No, I shouldn't have done that.
I have to give you another word now. I have to burn one. You're on the right path. Just so you know. Because the next word I would have given you is Jedi. I was hoping you would have.
Oh, okay.
I was hoping you would get to Jedi with Survivor. So I'm gonna go with hub. So you've gotten planet, Survivor, and hub.
I don't know.
Round 15. We've got 3 more words to guess. I don't know if we're gonna get this.
No. Hub. See, here's my problem. I'm going like down the Star Wars rabbit hole, and I'm thinking like Coruscant in my head, but like that's not a video game like necessarily thing. So I'm not going there. But
I've got 5 more words to burn. Do you want me to give you one more on this one?
No. Hang on. It's Planet, Survivor, Hub. That's what I got.
Yes.
Okay. Oh my gosh, dude. I don't know.
I think the next one will get you there. I hope so.
But what if it doesn't?
I'm using one. We gotta get there eventually. So I gotta try, right? Okay. I'm gonna use one more on this. I'm gonna go Grease.
Oh no, I don't remember the name of the planet. That's the problem. I can picture it all day long.
Oh no.
Yeah, I can picture it. I can't think of the name of the planet.
Dang. Do you want to move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was on that path. I just was like, I can't think of the name of it. So hopefully I'm wrong and it's not said planet.
It probably is.
But I just don't know what that planet is because I can't think of the name.
So we'll move on to the final one. So we've got 3 left. There's 2 we skipped over. We're on number 8 now. This one's not also that easy. We're going to go.
Okay. We're like the Buffalo Sabres right now. You know, it's a long shot. We'll see what happens.
All right. Vibration.
DualShock?
HD.
Rumble?
Got it. It was Rumble.
Okay.
So we've got all. We've got all.
We have all the clues.
And I have 2. I have 2 words left that I can use, and we have.
Okay, so you have 2 words left for each of, or I mean,
in general.
One, I guess.
In general, right? So we've got number.
Josiah, think. Okay,
5 and
Star
7
Wars.
left. So you want to go back to?
Kidding me.
You want to go back to that one?
Let's go to that one. It's fresh right now.
Yeah. So you've gotten Planet, Survivor, and Grease. Oh, and Hub as well. We use 4 on this, and Grease.
I have no idea the name of this stupid planet. Oh my gosh.
Didn't you platinum this game?
Yes.
You spent hours
hours. Stop, get out of my head. Unless you're going to leave the name of the planet there.
I tried.
I can't believe it. Oh. A Star Wars question. What a cruel joke.
Yeah.
I don't know. No other word's gonna help me because
I don't think a word's gonna help you there.
No. All right. Let's take a break. Let's go back to the other one.
Okay.
Just refresh me what the two.
We've gotten BioShock and I think BioShock and Powers is all I gave you, and you skipped on that. Do you want another hint? Another word on that one? We got 2 left to burn.
So what the hell? Where that was called?
This is probably the most specific one. I guess number 7 that you can't get is also really specific, but for someone like you, it shouldn't be.
Oh, Courtney, good question.
No, so it's technically 20 because I'm only allowed to give a word, and you can only guess one word when I give that word.
Wait, hang on. Say that again. Sorry.
You're only allowed to guess after I give a word. So it's not unlimited guesses. I give you a word, you give me a guess.
Got it.
So that's why it's not unlimited.
So I do have limited. Okay.
Yeah. So like next time you guess,
because you have to give me another word if I get it wrong.
Yeah. So next time you guess, you can't guess again until I give you another clue. So you're burning through our words when you guess.
Yes. Okay. I do not recall what they're called in BioShock. That's my problem. I know what each of these things are. I just cannot get there or haven't gotten there yet, I should say.
Got it.
What are they called? I picture them. The vending machines, the circus of values. Oh my gosh.
Come back when you get some money, buddy.
Circus of value.
I can give you a word, but I can't get too crazy with it. Because like I don't think I should give you words that like sound like that word or words that like rhyme. That's not in the spirit of the game.
No, it's not. All right, I'm gonna burn one there because I know nothing will help. I think nothing will help me on Star Wars.
Tank missed the question. So Tank, he's got to get all of these words on this list here. I give him a word that I think will help him get there. I've got 20 words to help him get all through this list. So far, he's gotten number 1, which was gear, number 2, which was shock, number 4, which was co-op. I'm sorry, 3 co-op, 4 connect. He doesn't have 5 yet. He got 6 Goomba. He doesn't have 7 yet, and he has 8, which is Rumble. So he's gotten through all of those. We've burned through 18 words that I can give him. So I've got 2 left, and he's got 2 left. So you want
John? You could say a word. It doesn't have to rhyme, like obviously, but like you could say a word that's not necessary. It could just describe it, right?
Yeah, that's what powers kind of is.
I see what you're saying, but I'm just saying like you don't have to be tied to video game descriptions. Like you could just be like, hey, I think this word would get you here.
Right. Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
I don't really have one for that. I have a word that could help you. You want me to use it?
Yeah.
Vigor.
Oh!
So that's obviously the one that it's not.
No, I know. That's why I'm going, oh.
Do you know which one Vigor's from?
Is it from Infinite?
Yeah. So Vigor's Infinite. So now you need the other ones.
Yeah, I don't know. Those terms I don't think are going to come to me at this point.
Dang.
Give me one more minute here. I know.
Yeah.
Because we could have done this. We could have pulled this off.
I know.
The first try. John and I didn't even do like a practice like version of this game. This is the first time we're doing this.
Joe didn't know what this game was until I just sprung it on him. I picked 8 random words from a generator. I mean, I refreshed a couple of times until I got some fun ones. Obviously, that's why we have a Star Wars one here.
I'm crossing universes now, which is the problem because I'm like, oh, Stimpack, but it's not Stimpack. That's Jedi.
Yeah.
Another sore topic for you and I.
Another sore topic for this list.
Vigor, yeah. Vigors is what it is in Infinite. I don't have it, John. I don't have the Star Wars planet. I can picture it night and day. I spent hours upon hours there. Greece this is the biggest planet, I think, too. This is the one, I mean, it's the hub, but it's like the one where you really spend the most time if you're doing the 100%. So
which one do you want first?
Oh man, it's only fitting to end with Star Wars, right? To be the reason. So give me BioShock first.
So we failed this. This was a fun game. I think we'll come back to this. We'll do this one again. It's quick. Sure. It's quick. It's fun. I'm almost glad that we failed because like I thought it was going to be a little too easy with 20 and 8 questions, but it turns out that these are tough.
Here's the thing. It was exactly right because I know the things you're talking about. I just don't know the terms for them.
For sure.
I can't remember them.
Right. So the first one we missed, number 5. We're looking for plasmid.
Yeah, that was out of my brain totally.
That's tough.
I just talked about BioShock today.
Yeah, that one was on the list twice because the second one was Shock, and I gave you Bio.
Crazy. Can you? Okay, so since I've lost the game.
We've lost the game.
So with Star Wars, give me a hit. Like, what's the first letter?
K.
I literally even hear the synth that plays when you land.
You're going to be so mad. You're going to be angry at yourself.
Already there, my friend. Already there. K. Famous Star Wars K's. Kamino, KOTOR. I don't know.
Hobo.
Fuck.
That was fun. That was cool.
Yeah, I love that game. That's great. We should do it again for sure. John, you did a great job getting me to, especially with those two, where I needed to be. I could not remember. I would not have remembered Kobo for the life of me.
Yeah, that's where it gets tough. It's tough. It's like I can lead you there, as best I can, but if you just don't remember, you don't remember.
100%. You could have said hobo there, like to rhyme, and it wouldn't have helped me. So yeah, great job, man. I like it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we'll do more stuff like that. There's a ton of them out there. TikTok is like blowing up with all these like fun little trivia things. They're very sports focused, but like every time I watch one, I'm like, dude, I could totally make this a video game thing, and we could be having fun on Busy Sticks. So we need a name for the segment. So we'll brainstorm ideas. For now, it's just video games.
Classic.
Video games. Yeah, I was gonna go like plasma, but I'm like that's cheating. I don't want to, I think you may have gotten there if I said plasma, but that's no fun.
How embarrassing that would have been if I still got it wrong. So no, that's good. Steer away from it. Steer away from the easy ones. All right, we're gonna wrap up this episode of Busy Sticks. What a great day it was for the gaming industry, especially if you are on Team Green and a fan of Xbox now first-party developed games. We had some good news, of course, with Until Dawn and a little bit from the Baldur's Gate 3 Director 2. John, anything to plug for the Geekiverse? And final thoughts as we wrap up here.
Fun episode. I'm glad to have like a big topic again, like to have some showcases, to have some big news. Like it's obviously fun to be back doing Busy Sticks. We have a blast with this. It's our chance to hang out every week, which is obviously so much fun. But yeah, the big news, like these showcases are a blast to talk about. But yeah, next Monday, we're doing it. The video game draft, the Fantasy Critic draft. One of the most fun, maybe the most fun episode all year. Obviously, we have a great time with the Game of the Year conversation every year. But every time we've done one of these fantasy video game drafts, we've just had a blast. We all sit down. We all understand it's going to be like a 2.5 3 hour experience. We have some beers. We have some fun. We have some laughs. It's going to be great, especially in a year like this where like it's not necessarily slim pickings, but there's a lot of question marks out there, and there aren't as many for sure certified bangers as there were in a year like 2023. So it's gonna be a blast. Make sure you tune in or catch it after we upload it.
Just like my friends from Panic at the Disco singing Frozen 2, Into the Unknown. That's what 2024
that was
is
Panic
for
at the
video
Disco?
games. Hell yeah, man! It's so
mind
good.
blown. I love that song.
How does he hit those notes?
I didn't know that was him.
Yeah, man.
What the heck?
Into the unknown. It's so good. It made sense. We had like 17 feet of snow, so we watched Frozen 2 this week.
I love Frozen. I love Frozen 2. I did not know that was Panic at the Disco.
Frozen 2 is so good.
It's awesome. I like the first one better, but I love 2.
I used to have that mindset. But after having watched each of them roughly 3,000 times a piece, Frozen 2 is the one that is made it for me. So
that's like
2020. Go ahead.
That's like the main reason I haven't gone and like filled my gap of Disney movies, because like I know once Jack gets a couple years old, like I'm gonna be watching nothing but Disney movies. So like I'm saving those experiences so I can at least have like one first time viewing for all the movies that I've missed, because like I know it's gonna be rough.
Dude, look at my Letterboxd app, and you're gonna be like, "Whoa! All the movies you're watching are ridiculous."
Yep.
So yeah, that's a great point. 2023, we at the Geekiverse crowned it the best year in gaming, the most sure bet. Then we go to 2024. We think there's going to be some quality. We just don't know what's coming out. So a video game draft makes a lot of sense. Tune in Monday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time, February 22nd. February 22nd. Wow, January 22nd. We're going to be talking. It might be by the time we draft this. Who knows? But we're going to be drafting with our buddies Rashawn, Tim, JT, and of course, Mr. Derek Kramer makes his return. We're going to crown a new champion. There's going to be a little trash talk. We're going to recap the untold story of the drama that was the 2023 Geekiverse Fantasy video game.
I'm not ready for that.
I'm not ready either. I think there's going to be a lot of therapy and healing, hopefully.
I do hope so.
I can't wait till the documentary comes out on that. It's going to be a good time. So for the Geekiverse, if you tuned in live, we appreciate you. Subscribing goes a long way for us, whether that's twitch.tv/the Geekiverse or on YouTube at youtube.com/the Geekiverse. You can check out our entire backlog of videos there, including my drum video to Guardians of the Galaxy awesome mix that we put out a little bit over a month ago. So we will see you all Monday. For John, for myself, Josiah, thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate you coming for the ride. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.